The detailed How to Play It Today breakdown is linked in the description on theircheck.com. Pole Position 2 is one of the cleaner cases. There is a modern legal version, and for most people the answer is Arcade Archives Pole Position 2. The caveat is not access. The caveat is whether you actually want a strict early arcade racer in 2026. Pole Position 2 still makes sense because it is brutally direct. Pick a course, qualify, survive the race, and try to do it cleaner next time. No garage management, no upgrade economy, just racing, line, speed, traffic, and punishment. That can be refreshing. It can also feel ancient in about 3 minutes, depending on what you came for. This is a good play today if you want arcade racing in its concentrated form. Short runs, fast resets, a game that expects you to learn by crashing, not by reading tutorials. It is also a useful sequel because it adds the 4-course structure, so it gives you more variety than the original Pole Position, without turning into a modern racing package. But do not buy it expecting depth. If you want modern handling, licensed progression, long-term unlocks, or a generous driving model, skip it. Pole Position 2 is not trying to be a comfortable racing game. It is a score chase machine with a steering wheel shaped grudge. So, who is this for? Arcade racing fans, Namco history people, and players who enjoy a clean, unforgiving challenge in short sessions. Who should skip it? Anyone looking for a modern racer, or anyone who needs more structure than qualify, race, improve. The best current option is Arcade Archives POLPOSC 2 on Nintendo Switch or PlayStation 4. That is the recommendation for most players. The PlayStation version can also matter if you are playing through the PS4 ecosystem, with PS5 play depending on the normal PS4 backward compatibility caveats. There are older routes. The Atari 7800 version matters historically, especially for people interested in that hardware. Older Namco Museum compilations also exist as legacy options. But those are not the best answer for most players today. They mean older platforms, older purchases, and more friction than necessary. If your goal is simply to play Pole Position 2 legally now, start with Arcade Archives because it solves the biggest problem cleanly. It gives you the arcade game as a current official digital release without making you hunt down an old cartridge, a cabinet, or an older compilation disc. It also gives you the usual Arcade Archives framing, game settings, display options, and online rankings. That matters here because Pole Position 2 is not a game that needs modernization so much as preservation with practical access. You want the arcade structure intact, but you also want to get into it without a hardware project. The trade-off is worth saying plainly. This is still a bare arcade racer. The Arcade Archives release does not turn it into a modern racing collection, and the main game uses the Japanese ROM. For most players, that does not change the basic recommendation. It is still the cleanest way in. Before starting, understand the loop. Pole Position 2 is not about working through a campaign. It is about the discipline of a short arcade run. First, qualify, then survive the race. Speed matters, but greed gets punished. Traffic is dangerous. Collisions are severe. Gear and acceleration timing matter more than a modern player might expect. The key adjustment is patience. Do not drive it like a modern arcade racer where you can scrape through mistakes and recover instantly. Pole Position 2 is older and stricter. Brake earlier than your instincts want. Learn the course shape. Treat qualifying as part of the game, not a loading screen before the real game, and use the 4 courses as the point of the sequel. That variety is the main reason to choose I over treating the first Pole Position as the only necessary stop. The verdict is straightforward. Pole Position 2 is recommended with caveats. Buy Arcade Archives, Pole, POST, Position 2 if you want a legal, low friction arcade racing snapshot with real historical weight and sharp short session value. Skip it if you want a modern racer. This is not that. It is a clean, punishing arcade test, and the best version is already the obvious one.